The Poisonous Plait by Kate and Aria Hennessy. The story began in the Twisted Wood, where a witch had decided she'd rather be good. The time had now come to hang up her hat, empty her cauldron, and rehome the cat. Being a baddie was never much fun. A witch's job was a lonely one. Yes, life was quite dull, wearing black every day. She was tired of scaring small children away. Her potions were stale and her spellbook was old. She'd had quite enough, if the truth be told. So the witch packed her bag and strode to the town to find a new job and to turn life around. When there, in a window, a notice read, "Wanted, a hairdresser." "That's it," the witch said. Here was her chance to make a fresh start, to make people happy with hairdos of art. She'd learn to be courteous and helpful and kind. Yes, hairdressing was how she'd leave witchcraft behind. "I can't pay you much," the owner said with a frown. "There are too many fancy new salons in town where all of my stylists have left me to go. And without any workers, business is slow." He narrowed his eyes. He found it quite strange that a witch would choose hairdressing just for a change. But then, when a customer came through the door, he gave the witch scissors and argued no more. So the witch set to work on the girl's long hair. She washed it and fluffed it and trimmed it with care. But in her excitement, and quite accidentally, she picked up her wand, and then, consequently, with a zing and a zang and a splish and a splat, from out of a curl popped a hairy black bat. The horrified owner looked on with alarm, whilst the witch was dismayed, as she meant no harm. The girl held the mirror, her eyes opened wide, just as the witch was trying to hide the bat as it dangled entangled in hair. "I've ruined it all," cried the witch in despair. Then what happened next? Well, I doubt you could guess. The girl with the bat in her hair did no less than rise to her feet, hands clutching her head. And that's when she screamed, and that's when she said, "I love it," she cried. "It's perfect," she said. "I look really cool with a bat on my head. My friends will be jealous. They'll all want their own." Then with thanks and a tip, she headed off home. Just as predicted, the very next day, people came queuing from miles away. Everyone wanted a magical style. The witch did her best to make customers smile. For the little old lady who came for a trim, the witch carved a nest for the birds to live in. Then for another, she conjured a cat to chase away mice in her underground flat. The lady who came for a big curly perm left 10 minutes later with a wiggly pet worm. Then a girl with her mum chose a cute wavy crop with a small speckled toad hopping on top. She braided with snakes and coloured with slime. She popped bugs into buns, not the edible kind. She cut fringes with frogs and pigtails with snails. The owner was thrilled with the witch's sales. But one day there came a loud knock on the door, and there stood a lady who'd not been before. She sneered at the witch and wrinkled her nose, and laughed at her broom and her old witchy clothes. "I was just popping by when I fancied a plait, but I see now I've clearly got no chance of that. What good is a witch? I'd rather a clown. This must be the silliest salon in town." This woman was rude, and they hoped she would go. But she snatched up the wand, saying, "Now I shall show that you have no talent. This town has been conned. Who needs a witch? All I need is your wand." Trying her luck, she cried, "Alakazat!" But that was the spell for a poisonous plait. There were whizzes and bangs and a thunderous boom as magic and mayhem took over the room. The woman was shrieking and screeched as her hair began twisting and weaving itself in mid-air. The poison was spreading. Each strand that was thread was creeping with crawlies all over her head. She was twitching from itching and covered in bites. From poisonous snakes and spiders and mites, the woman cried, "Help!" And the owner cried, "Stop! Just look what you've done! Now get out of my shop!" Now there was trouble, a double to do. The witch and the woman were both in a stew. There was only one way to make everything stop. The witch with the scissors cut the plait with a chop. The woman looked sheepish. "I'm sorry, it's true. I thought it was easy to do what you do. We all need a chance," she said with a sigh. "Who you are doesn't matter as long as you try." She gave back the wand and glanced down at her hair, all gone from her head in this sorry affair. But her lesson was learned, so they left it at that, and the witch cast a spell to grow it all back. "You were kind to that woman," said the owner, "but why?" "I've made it grow faster," said the witch in reply. "Just thinking of business," she winked with a grin. "She'll be back every week to pay for a trim." So the witch, still a witch, carried on styling hair, using her magic with kindness and care. She'd never imagined the good it could do in a salon with scissors and sinks and shampoo.